We've made our way to the Riviera. Thanks for joining us. It's Alex with the world's best shows from Las Vegas, and I'm so pleased to talk again to Frank Marino. How are you?
Great. It's good to be back.
It's nice to see you out of a frock.
Yeah, last time I was dressed in drag, huh? Do I look different?
Slightly, yes. Without the makeup, I think there's a slight change.
I think that's the biggest intrigue for people. They see me as a boy sometimes with the short black hair, and then I'm dressed as a woman with this long blonde hair, and they're like, how does he do that?
Now, the show's Le Cage, and that's on at the Riviera, and you play comedian Joan Rivers.
Yeah. Well, when the time came that I decided to do drag, Joan Rivers was the most famous female comedian, and probably to date for stand-up comedy.
And she's certainly my favorite. She has no fear. That's what I like about her.
Yeah, she has no fear. She says what she says on her mind. But what I like about her, she's not vulgar. Sometimes comedians are vulgar, and that's a turnoff for me.
Did you hear the story about the Royal Variety this year in front of the Queen?
No, but I know she's with the Queen all the time. What happened?
No, the proper Queen.
Proper Queen. No, I know. Joan wasn't she with Prince Charles at Camilla and wedding and everything?
Well, she was in front of the Queen, and she dropped the F-bomb and bowed and said, "Take my head now." She was apologetic.
Wow. Okay, so you're right. She takes chances. A lot more than I would be willing to do.
I've got to ask you about the repetition of the show, because I say it's 2 years since I last interviewed you, and you're still doing 300 shows a week. Are you not bored of this role?
You know what? After 9/11 happened here in America, I saw so many people out of work doing jobs they didn't want to do that I said I would never complain about work again. So I really enjoy what I do. And what I do is I keep it fresh. I put new gowns in it. I put new monologues in it. So people come back so many times and they never get the same show twice.
I presume Paris, Britney, and Lindsay are all in the act at the moment.
We got Britney Spears. And you know what? And they write their own material. Britney Spears alone could keep this show going for the next 20 years because every day she's in a new situation.
And that's really what people like Joan love, those moments of celebrity mishap that you can rely on forever.
Exactly. And that's why I always say we went through 4 presidents since I've been doing the show. We went through the turn of a century and 2 wars, but we're still hanging in there. I got to tell you, about 10 years ago, I got worried because Joan was getting up there in age, and I said, well, what am I going to do? God forbid something happened to her. Little did I know she'd be the #1 jewelry seller for fake jewelry, and on the red carpet asking everybody, she's going to be a cockroach. When the world ends, it's going to be Joan Rivers and me standing.
Now, you don't look like you've had that much surgery. I mean, you're not truly Joan Rivers, are you?
I've had a lot of plastic surgery, but nothing age-altering. Like, everybody thinks I had a facelift and this and that. No, I didn't, but I'm very open with my surgery. I have had a nose job. I've had cheek implants. I've had chin implants. I had my neck lifted, but never did my face. And there's a big difference between your neck and your face, but most people consider it a facelift. I did not have a facelift. And I've had liposuction. I'll suck it out of anywhere to make it look good.
Let's talk about the show itself. There's not just you in it. You introduce lots of different acts. Describe it for me.
The show starts with me opening as a Joan Rivers character, warming the people up, letting them know I'm not performing a lifestyle, that I'm just performing as a type of entertainment. Make everybody comfortable, and then I bring on all the famous ladies of the strip, whether it be Britney Spears or Madonna and Jennifer Lopez, Celine Dion, all the big names, Cher, of course. So it's a lot of fun. When we first opened, we had people like Julie Andrews and Anne Margaret, who used to be with Elvis Presley. 20 years later, you forget. And we go, we need something. We keep Judy Garland in for the old people. I go, hello, Cher and Tina Turner are now for the old people. You forget.
These old guys are now really the face of Vegas, if you look at Bette Midler and Cher and Elton John. Tell me about life here in Vegas since you started, because as you say, you've been here an awfully long time. It is unrecognizable from 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago, and even last year when I came, there weren't half the buildings there are now. Do you like the way Vegas has gone? Is it going in the right direction?
Some things I like, some things I don't. When I first got here, it was a lot smaller, it was more personable. If you were a high roller, you'd walk into the casino, it would be, hello, Mr. Smith, Mr. Johnson. Now, you could be playing $1 million player and they don't know your name because you're one of 1 million that are able to do that. Vegas has changed a lot. We used to do 3 shows a night. We now do 1. It's an earlier town. The old days when I met Frank Sinatra, Liberace, Dean Martin, all these people, I was very young at the time, and I didn't realize how important it would be later on to think, wow, I knew the people in the Rat Pack and the people who started the 3-show-a-night show, and the last one would go on at 2 in the morning. I think they just did it to have the people in the future like try to kill themselves.
You must see interesting things over the years that you've been doing it. What's the most interesting thing you've looked out and seen?
Well, one time I thought they had me on that camera show, Candid Camera, where they do spoofs on the people, or if I was being punked by Ashton Kutcher. But the audience was just getting a little rowdy, and there was these two tables that were looking at each other with like anger, and one guy stood up and threw a candle at the other guy. The candle lights the table up, and it was all over whose seat touched whose seat, and I thought they were doing a spoof. Luckily, I could just cut my monologue, and I took the coward way out, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, share." I let her deal with it, but turned out I wasn't on candid camera, and it was a real argument.
Tell me about your life now today and your enjoyment for the show. Are you going to be here forever? I mean, I intend to keep doing the show as long as they'll have me do it. Are we going to be talking in 5 and 10 and 20 years? Is this your life now?
I'm going to say like Bette Midler's answer is all the time about performing. As long as they keep asking me back, I will continue to do it. You know, until it gets to a point where I'm at the age where it's just not pretty anymore, then I'll stop. But right now, as long as I have the doctors to pull it and pluck it and tuck it, I'm going to stay here as long as I can.
And finally, about the casino, the Riviera itself, there's something really original about this casino here in Vegas, and there are less and less of them.
Yeah, you know what? The Riviera is a smaller hotel, so sometimes people make jokes about it. But the Riviera Hotel, for me, has really been great. It's an old-fashioned hotel, so you get the history of Vegas, and I particularly like that. I came in at the end of the mob running Las Vegas, but I liked small Vegas. Big Vegas is amazing, but now they're all chasing the younger dollar. I want to keep some hotels like the Riviera where you have, like you said, middle American people coming to have a good time.
Very finally, would you indulge me in your favourite showbiz story? You've worked with so many different people. Give me a Sinatra story or something like that.
I'll give you a Whitney Houston story. Whitney came in to see our show before she met Bobby Brown. And instead of seating in the booths, which were in the middle of the room and make me feel comfortable because I really couldn't see her, she decided to sit up front. Front row, right in front of the monitor speaker, at the bottom of my high heel the whole night, and it was very difficult to have a superstar of that stature in the room with a friend of ours. She had a woman with her, and enjoying the show instead of being in the middle booth where she should be, where I wouldn't have to worry about everything I said.
And does it change your performance when you know these people are in?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Every night you want to do the good show, but when the superstars come in that are also impersonated in your show, you want to make sure it's perfect. Dolly Parton came in, took her earrings off, gave them to odd Dolly Parton. Joan Rivers came in, she gave me a $5 million lawsuit. Did I mention that before? She really sued me in 1986 for $5 million, which thank God we settled because I was like $80 short at the time. But we become friends again. We love our Joan Rivers, but she could get testy, and I think everybody knows that.
And I think that's her character, isn't it? She couldn't just walk by and say nothing.
Exactly. And actually, I just saw her last week in Beverly Hills. She got a play going on right now, which is actually very good. So she's got to be the hardest working woman in show business, because when I saw her schedule, I got tired.
Absolutely. Frank Marino, thank you very much for talking to me. It's a delicious show, let's say that. It's on here at the Riviera, and it's called Le Cash. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you. And if anybody wants any more information, go to my website, frankmarino.com. We tell you all the characters in the show and how you can get tickets.
That'll be $70,000 for that plug. Thank you.
You got it.